Look at the threats currently straining our social fabric. We have algorithmic propaganda fragmenting reality, financial architectures designed for extraction, and advanced hypersonic weaponry. The architects behind these systems are not uneducated. In fact, they possess the highest academic credentials and prestigious degrees our society can grant. Modern academia is incredibly efficient at credentialing brilliance, but it often fails to examine the one thing that keeps that brilliance from becoming a liability: conscience. Nearly every PhD program asks, "What can you do?" They rarely ask the more difficult question, "What will you refuse to do, and why?" To address this imbalance, we need a new educational standard, a discipline leading to a doctor of conscience. The roadblock is that academia currently treats conscience as an innate, unteachable trait. It's seen as something you simply have or you don't, rather than a rigorous discipline that can be studied and taught. Without a formal pedagogy for moral awareness, our universities will continue to produce graduates who are experts at building complex systems, but who lack the internal framework to judge when those systems become harmful. To build that framework, we have to understand how global philosophy split centuries ago. In the West, the philosophical trajectory followed Socrates. His primary instrument was dialectic reason and logic, a method that focused the human intellect outward to categorize the world. Plato refined this tradition, setting the course for the modern scientific academies and logical systems we rely on today. But there was another path. The Eastern tradition, shaped by Confucius, Laozi, and the Buddha, turned inward, focusing heavily on the human core and moral wisdom. Neither path was an error. They were simply aimed at different goals. However, because Western-dominated education focused on the outward, Socratic method, we never fully established a system for teaching inner moral wisdom to the general public. The solution to teaching conscience already exists, but it wasn't developed in elite ivory towers. It was built for the marginalized. In the 20th century, educator Paulo Freire developed a pedagogy specifically to awaken the intellect and awareness of peasants and the favelanos of Brazil. Freire proved that deep moral and intellectual awakening didn't require a university chair. It could be taught systematically to those entirely outside the formal academy. Across the world, centuries earlier, another school of thought was doing the exact same thing. The Wang Yangming school focused on liangji, innate moral knowledge. His work was carried forward by Wang Gen, a salt worker with no formal education, who taught this pedagogy of the kind heart to farmers and artisans. History shows conscience is not an academic luxury for the few. It is a universal capacity taught by salt workers and peasants alike. We are now gathering these ancient practices into a new, formal discipline, Consciencology. Every established field began this way. Healing existed for millennia before medicine became a degree doctorate. Matter was being transformed in kitchens and blacksmith forges long before chemistry earned its own university chair. The everyday practice of kindness and moral judgment has now reached that same threshold of formalization. This creates a necessary shift in how we innovate. We must move from the relentless pursuit of artificial intelligence toward the cultivation of artificial wisdom. Our future accolades must measure contributions based on the moral framework that guides the creator, not just their raw technological capability. This transition turns a fragmented path into a complete arch. It creates a future where our highest credential is defined not by the tools we are capable of engineering, but by the judgment that tells us when to put those tools down.